Hey my loves, welcome back to another new episode of the Posivibe Show, designed to make you happier and of course stronger every single day. So I'm Alice, I'm a life and mindset coach for female entrepreneurs and women. So I do help women in becoming the best version of themselves, and in today's episode we do have a special woman. She is called Neferteri Plessy, and she has helped over 5,000 women globally in launching their online businesses, gain financial freedom, and establish wealth building strategies. And she is also the founder of Elevated Strategist, an agency with expertise in digital audience development and strategy. So she has a lot of experience in her field, and in today's podcast she's gonna help us discover the secrets behind her success, and of course everything is related to you, my loves, and she's gonna give you all the tips she could in order to be the best version of yourself in your business and your personal life. So let's welcome together Neferteri. Hi, Neferteri, and thank you so much for joining us in the Positive Vibes community. That's such a big pleasure for all of us.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
We are excited too. So for the people out there who don't know you, can you tell them a little bit about yourself and what do you do? Just tell them about yourself.
Oh, absolutely. What do I do? So many things that I do, but I will start off by saying I am a woman who is all about helping my clients and helping those who are in the world who want to share their story, really get loud about their life and get loud about their vision and their dream, and letting people know that they exist on this planet and being unapologetic about it. And so that is primarily what I do. I'm a media consultant, and I help people that are anywhere from athletes to motivational speakers or authors, those that just have a message that they want to put out, get their message out there to the world. And then I also have a nonprofit called Single Moms Planet that I founded. I would say we're about 7 years old now. Wow. And that nonprofit is, it's all about helping single parent households and primarily single mothers figure out how to really navigate through the waters of their financial well-being and creating that generational wealth for their family.
Yeah, that's so amazing. Oh my God. You're doing such amazing things. Yeah, I was aiming to ask you about the single mom, community that I checked it out and I found it so inspiring. And it's exactly the aim of this podcast, this community. It's helping women, single women, just females, and make them feel empowered. So I'm sure everybody is going to learn a lot from you. All right. So can you tell us a little bit about your story? How did you get into this business thing, and how did you start everything? What was the trigger?
Wow. So my story really begins, I would say, at the age of 16. Oh. I think I don't really share this story, but if I really was to go back, I would say 16 years old. I was told that I should be a model. And I was like, a model? Why should I be a model? And so this particular person was a friend of mine, was just like, well, you're beautiful. You should give it a try. And so even though I think I knew that I was attractive, I was only 16. So still kind of a kid, you don't really know how powerful you are as a woman or anything like that, usually at 16. So I was just I told my mom, I said, I want to be a model. And she's like, oh, okay. And so she actually put me in a modeling school called Barbizon. And Barbizon I don't know if you know of Barbizon, but I know they were throughout the US. I don't know if they were international, but they were where you could go as a young kid and learn how to model, how to speak, how to sit, how to talk, how to take pictures.
Oh.
And I entered Barbizon at around 16 years old and did my first photo shoot. And I remember I lived in San Francisco at this time. So that's where I grew up in Oakland, California, and I lived in San Francisco. And so I went to scout for a open call. It's called like an open call. You go to and you try to get an agent. And there were 3 agencies at the time that were the dominators in San Francisco. And they all told me, no, thanks. Right. So they passed on me as a model. And I can remember, as a girl going, okay, wait, this really wasn't even my idea. And at that time I was like, well, I still was in high school. And I said, well, I'll table this for now, since I don't have an agent, and I will revisit it if it's for my path. Right.
Oh, yeah.
And so that led me into the entertainment business, mostly because at around 18 years old, I was actually scouted by a major company that was looking for models, an agency that I'm still with to this day in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And they're an amazing agency. My kids are with them. A lot of my friends who are heavy hitters in the industry are with them as well. And so I've been with them for over 20 years now. Incredible.
Incredible.
And I was able to travel the world internationally. I was living between Miami, New York, LA, and was just really a jet setter at the age of about 18, because that's when I was originally scouted. And so, I would say that's where I really started with understanding business, understanding timing, understanding how to put yourself together, understanding that just because someone tells you no, doesn't mean that it is a no for your path. It just may be a no for right now. There may be other things that need to be put in place so that you don't go off the rails completely. So, maybe if I was modeling at 16 and 17, who knows? I could have been on drugs. There was a big epidemic of a lot of models, being anorexic and on drugs and, really not being safe. They were, young models being flown all over the world, not really having chaperones, and they were being taken advantage of. And so I missed all of that because I was grown when I stepped into that entertainment space, and so I would say that was my foundation. That's really where I really learned grassroots, boots on the ground, how to run a company, looking at executives run their companies, put on campaigns, having runway shows and modeling events, really big, big business concepts there.
That's so good. Yeah, you started at such a young age, so you got so much experience in like the business and stuff. So like something I could figure out just from your story is that you met a lot of challenges your way, right?
If I would have to say my life was not necessarily challenging. It's interesting. I think as I get older and you meet so many people and you hear real challenges, really, really heart-wrenching situations where I don't know how I would have handled those types of situations if I was in them, right? You meet all the different scenarios of people. Mm-hmm. I would have to say that I definitely had circumstances around me. Just from a young age, just growing up in the inner city, I just saw a lot. The high school I went to, some of the students there were prostitutes, because it's a high level of prostitution at that time. I'm not really sure now, but at that time in the Bay Area, in the San Francisco area, and, men were able to take advantage of the young girls and have them working at a very young age, whether if they were runaways or if they're, just in a bad situation. They could have even been trafficked. And I don't think we were talking about trafficking as much in the late 90s, early 2000s as we talk about it now. But it was definitely around me. And so there were just things that I would have to say exponentially sped up how I show up on earth now. Like I've been through a lot of different scenarios. I've been around the parties where there's cocaine on the table right next to me. And I just never was really into being a part of drugs. I never needed it to have fun or anything like that. And I'm not a big peer pressure person. So you can't really get me to do something because you think it's fun.
Yeah.
And so that was something that my mom instilled in me. And it's something that, I think attributes to why I have such an amazing life. Like I love my life. I love what I've been able to create. I love how my kids are being raised and the developmental process of just being on the earth and being responsible for how my life shows up.
Yeah.
But my mom actually, her start with when it came to adulthood and me and my father and her becoming pregnant, she was pregnant at about probably 24. They had a physical abusive relationship. And so, she actually had to flee from him and moved us to Boston, where we stayed for about a year or two with family that we had there before we made our way to California. And so that was my, initial foundation was just my mom being that survivor and wanting to make sure that she was safe and that I was safe and that we just had a better existence outside of my father's, home.
Yeah, so that was the challenge, maybe like you learned from your mom's story. Well, I can say that I relate to your story because my dad was, well, I wouldn't say abusive, but he wasn't kind with us and he didn't like love us the way he should love us. And like I've learned it the hard way from my mom. And yeah, so I can relate to what you just told me. Like your mom is so brave and you absolutely have that bravery in you. Like bravery of your mom. That's so good. And all right. So when did you start feeling that you are becoming a successful female? And like which habits did you start implementing in your daily life? Because, being successful needs to be consistent on what you're doing. So, what are maybe some of the tips, some of the habits you did implement in your life so that you stay on track of success?
Wow. When I started actually understanding what success was, right? So, the first thing is we need to be able to identify what success looks like. Because if we don't really know what it looks like, then we will bypass the formulas that success holds in its container, right? So that's how you have scam artists. That's how you have, I think, was it Bernie Madoff, or, you have those types of folks who will make you think that success looks a particular way when you haven't studied the formula of what it looks like to have sustainable, consistent success, exactly. Right? Yeah. And so even for me, I can remember in my early dating years, I was dating very successful men. Oh. And I thought that this is what I attract. I attract successful men. I attract men that have it together. And along my path, I actually ran into some men that appeared to be successful and that were not. They just had moments of success.
Yeah, moment.
Right. So they just had like a moment. Or they were creating an environment that made it look like they were successful, whether if they had a beautiful home or car. But I got older and I started realizing that I needed to understand what success really looks like so that when I see it around me, I'm able to attract it and I'm able to sustain it for myself. Right.
What's success to you? Like, how do you define it?
So that's a loaded topic because success can be different for everyone, right? I think the number one thing is happiness, right? Are you having fun, right? And whatever that fun is for you, you need to hold on to it and write it down somewhere so that you don't forget. Whatever that harmony and that joy and that peace is for you is very important. That's the number one thing for me when I think about foundationally, when I think about success, right? So I also think that success is not being attached, right? So not being attached to things or making a connection to, in order for me to be happy or in order for me to be successful, you end up becoming the thing that you're trying to create versus just staying in a whole complete state of being yourself, right? So you're the individual creating the things that help you retain and sustain the success, right? But you as a whole person, you are already a success. You're complete, you're whole, you're beautiful. So that's like that core work. And then when I look at the success for my own life, if I was to describe it for myself, it's really, when I wake up in the morning, am I able to align my energy? How do I feel? And then when I'm able to identify my energy, I'm able to also look at, okay, what is it that I'm out to accomplish? And am I able to actually accomplish these things internally on my own, or do I need to hire support? Do I need to hire a coach? Do I need to hire a consultant? Do I need to have a therapist to sustain whatever this is that I'm going after, right? Because I want success, not just in one area of my life, but in all areas of my life. So mentally for myself, I want my kids to be healthy. I want my household to be clean. I want, my business to be thriving. I want my clients to be doing well. So all of these things are connected, right? And I really don't believe in putting it all on me, right? Like my back. I'm responsible, but I don't want to wear the backpack called, in order for me to sustain and retain the success, I need to be able to deliver all of this by myself, right? So I think that's important too, is identifying where do you need the support to get to those levels of success that you want to sustain.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. And then you started hiring a team and like having people around you who supported you, like to get to your success, right?
Yes. Hiring a team is good, but you really want to know, you want to get to the success, you want to get to sustainable, repeatable levels of success on your own first before you bring in a team, because you need to know what works. Yeah. That doesn't mean that you can't hire a consultant or a coach, because they can help cultivate the foundation of what this is going to look like. And then you want to bring in the team, because they are going to be looking for you to tell them what to do. It's your business, it's your life, and you're the captain of the ship, right? So you're not hiring someone to come in take over. You're hiring someone to help you get where you want to go, but you're still the one that's, in charge of how this business shows up, how your life shows up. You don't want to take a back seat into what it is that you're creating.
Exactly. Yeah, I do agree with that. You're right. That's a very good tip. And in terms of like being like, a woman responsible for business and you have your personal life at the same time, like somehow it gets hard to balance the two of them. So how do you do to like being a model? You need to take care of yourself and like your body, your soul, your mind. How do you try to balance all that? Like,
wow. So I'm number one, I don't believe in balance. So I'm so happy you brought that up. So I don't believe in balance. I just believe in falling all the way in. So whatever it is that I'm focusing on at that time is what my focus is. So I'm also big on my schedule. So if it's not in my calendar, it just doesn't exist. And if it's not in my calendar, that means I haven't really made a commitment to what it is that I need to do in order to accomplish the outcome that I say that I'm out here to make, right? It's like living in the ether or living in like the cuckoo bird's house, right? Like I'm talking about it, but I haven't set anything in place. I haven't put it in my calendar, and I don't have any accountability around the exponential way that I want this to roll out, right? So when I want to accomplish something big, I need to tell people who also accomplish big things, right? So that they can hold me accountable for what I've said that I'm going to create and how I'm going to show up, right? So all those things are really, really important. When I go about going back to your original statement about like self-care and wanting to make sure that those things are taken care of. So I have a personal trainer, and we meet via Zoom twice a week, sometimes 3, and we schedule it. And I have her send me a calendar invite. I accept the calendar invite. It's in my calendar. Lord knows, I really don't want to wake up at 7 a.m. to work out. Like I really don't feel like doing it. But I have the accountability of her. And then I have the fact that I committed to having it in my calendar, and I've put it on her calendar. So I'm like, well, if I flake, she could have been working with another client, or she could have been preparing to do something else. And so I'm going to respect her time too. So I have to put things in place for me that almost put me in a time bomb element, right? So it's like, if I start being out of integrity in one spot, I start blowing up these little time bombs. It's like, boom, okay, I'm out of integrity. And the next thing you know, you just have holes all over the ground. Your foundation's falling out underneath you because you let all the bombs off and your integrity is out of place, which means that your foundation is shook, right? So the integrity that you put for your health is the same way you're going to show up for your business, right? The love that you show for yourself goes beyond you. When you actually show up in love for your kids, you love your family, is when you take care of yourself, when you take care of your mental health, your physical health, right? That's really being responsible, making sure you have life insurance, is your paperwork in order for your will and trust, right? It's like, get these things in order. They're your responsibility. And then you can focus on making really good money, right? If we want to make really good money, we say we want to make hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars. But these little things, we cannot keep them on the rail. Why would that money show up for you when you can't handle making 50,000 a year or 100,000 a year? Why would the 100,000 then turn into 2 million overnight when you're not sustaining the $100,000 lifestyle, right? Money is alive and it's flowing and it has energy and it likes to land into something that's prepared for it. And so everything is very connected and we don't want to ignore that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay, you brought up a very important subject, which is money. Absolutely. Like everyone loves this topic. So what's your maybe piece of advice, let's say, about attracting money?
Money loves management. And where there is no management, there is no money. Mm-hmm. You have to have an arena and a flow that the money knows it's about to penetrate, right? It's alive. It's a mechanism that's here for us, right? Without us, money doesn't exist. It has no purpose. Absolutely. We give money purpose. Right? So if we want a life of luxury, we identify what those luxury things are, and then we utilize money to purchase them and then put them in a higher realm called the luxury realm, right? Yeah. Could be the same product that could cost $10 on one end and another one could cost $20,000, right? Same thing, does the same function. But if we have a luxury mindset, and we focus on the things that we really want to create and we make the space for them. So if you want luxury handbags or you want a new home, take care of the ones you have, right? Honor the things that you have now, show them respect, talk to them, honor them, love the money that you have, respect the money that you have, invest the money. Don't let the money stay stagnant. Money wants to flow. Yeah. Where is it going? Right. So if I want to purchase a $2 million home, And I'll start generating an activity, and ideas will come to me that are $2 million ideas. There'll be actions that I take that put me in alignment to generate $2 million. Right? But if we're just sitting back saying, I just want money, it's like, why? Because the money is here for you and us alive. And so if we look at the money as if it's a tool that is here to support us and what it is that we want to accomplish, and it's almost like an ally, right? It's like a friend that's here to invest in your ideas. It's here to help you feed your family. It's here to help your lights go on when you flip that switch in the morning. It lets you pay your property taxes so you don't lose your home. It puts gas in your car. Like all these things that money does that honors us, and we just don't acknowledge it.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, that's true. I've never thought about it this way, like I've always thought that you should have a vision of what your life should look like and like, yeah, just manifest it and that's it. But, you said it all. You said money loves management. So from today on, I'm going to use this in my own life.
I love it.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's a very good tip. And one more question is like when it comes to mindset, because you mentioned it briefly. So, what are the pillars that a female or someone needs to succeed in her life, whether it's a personal like life or business or professional life? What are some of the pillars?
When we're developing a healthy mindset, you have to really go into this as if you're at war initially. You need to gain control again of the territory that your mind is dwelling in, right? So when someone wants to gain control over something, they strategize about it. They talk to the people who have conquered lands prior. They actually have a plan. They have counsel. They're not nonchalant about it. They talk to allies. There's people you may need to communicate with, that there's a conversation that you may need to have with people who you've been avoiding. You need to get very active and proactive about reclaiming your mindset. Right? So sometimes we want to go into just meditative state and meditate our way into a powerful mindset. But what's happening is that you're meditating on top of trauma, right? So a lot of people are meditating on top of trauma. They're meditating on top of, disappointment, feeling as if they're not good enough. And so you got to get deep down into the trench, right? I want you to go low so you can go high, and you need to identify what's really going on, and there may be layers to how you get down to the bottom of it, right? In order for us to really be able to reclaim our story and reclaim our life and get down to having mindset, we need to go into an alpha and beta state, right? So once you go into this alpha and beta state, most of the time it's done through meditation, guided meditation. You can also have some support with this. You can maybe even hire a hypnotherapist. Some people do that as well. But I don't think it's something to pretend your way into or say you have a healthy mindset when you know that there are negative things really standing in front of you, even taking anger management classes, parenting classes. You need to be active about the fact that your mind has a mind of its own. Your mind is not connected to who you are as a person on the earth, which you are in a human body, having a human experience as a spirit, right? So your spirit, your body, and your mind, they have nothing to really do with each other. They're just on earth doing their thing, right? So we need to really get clean and clear on the foundational groundwork. Some of the things that I definitely do is I love to have rituals. So make sure you have some type of ritual for yourself, and honor yourself. When I have a big event, or I'm speaking somewhere, or I'm planning a conference, I have a driver with me. I have an assistant with me. Just those types of things can really help you with just releasing certain ideals of, I have to do everything myself. Yeah. Challenge the things that you see that pop up in your mind, write them down. And on the other side of the paper, you can draw a line. And on the other side, come up with a solution. So a lot of times our minds run rampant, and we don't really write down, well, what is the solution to this thing that keeps rattling in my brain, causing me to give it too much focus and attention? And so when you come up with a solution, you take a photo of it and have it in your phone, and your mind starts trying to trigger with, I'm all alone. I got to do all this by myself. I don't have any friends. Nobody supports me. Nobody shows up for me, all these crazy things. And I'm not going to say that some of these things aren't happening, but if they are happening, I still challenge you to get a solution.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. That's a good solution, of course. Like when we have a problem, we shouldn't try to fix the problem and just look at it, but we have to see it from different angles and see what can be changed. Yeah, that's a very good point. Once again, oh my God, yours.
Yeah, I mean, we can't transform things that we don't identify as the elephant in the room, right?
Yeah, right.
I think a lot of us have been conditioned to just stay quiet and not to speak about certain things,
of course,
and that they'll just go away. And a lot of times that's why people get on drugs. They can't sleep. They're drinking. They have anger issues. They take it out on their family members or their children, the people closest to them. They start to hurt themselves, you start to have, your body is going to have a reaction, almost like an allergic reaction to the sabotage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I tell my clients too. Like, I'm a life coach. I don't know if I have mentioned it.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't know.
Yeah. So I'm a life and mindset coach. And what I tell them is that you never have to suppress your feelings, because the more you suppress them, the more you sabotage yourself, and the more they are going to just get out with different forms.
Yes, I agree. I mean, I've done it to myself. I think most of us probably listening have experienced certain levels of self-sabotage. You start reaching certain levels of success, you get sick, you lose your voice, you need to be hospitalized. All these things happen because your body's having a reaction because there's trauma that hasn't been identified. So at least, even if it's not healed 100%, right? Because we're not talking about perfection. We're talking about identifiers. It's like, I know, you're the elephant in the room, but no, I know you're in the room, and I can talk to you and tell you to shut up. Right. And so I can get business handled. Exactly. Right. But if I'm pretending that you're not there, it's too noisy to get to the 7 figures, the multiple 6 figures, the 8 figures, whatever it is you want to accomplish. It's too noisy to get to the healthy, whole, complete relationship. It's too noisy to be able to sit down and really have meaningful conversations with our children, because we're pretending, and we're not really living life at its fullest, and we're definitely not being loud about who we are on the planet.
Yeah. So something I do about that, well, it happened to me I was in Barcelona, like for vacations, and I got some problems with my friends, like some challenges, I don't love calling them problems, but challenges. And something I did when I came back home, I started talking about it. Like, I didn't stop talking about it until I felt good about that. Because if I just let it in, like just let it sink in me and just, forget about it, it's going to come up one day and it's going to make me cry. I did cry. I did say whatever came to my mind, and that's it. I feel a lot better. So if you want to talk, talk.
No, I love it. And for anyone that, if you're a coach or a healer or consultant, a lot of times it's like we hold the container for everyone else, and then we don't have anyone holding a container for us.
Yeah.
And that is a dangerous game to play. I really say, we need the support as well, because we're holding the container for others. And so, sometimes we're able to identify how to get ourselves out of a particular mental block.
Yeah.
And we can maybe tweak a little bit, but it's the sustainability, which is what you talked about earlier. Like, how do you sustain the success? Right.
Yeah.
And it's, it's like, yes, you can get back on the bike and remember how to ride, but how do we advance the bike? How do we ride on the mountain? How do we ride by the beach? How do we ride in traffic? How do we ride in incoming traffic? As the traffic's coming at us,
Exactly.
How do we do that? Now I want to practice doing tricks on my bike. Well, how do I do that? So it's levels to it, and identifying it and calling a thing is going to be your first step to really reaching those levels of success.
Absolutely. Oh my God, you're so wise and you got so much wisdom in there. We can keep talking until tomorrow morning and we will.
Well, I've had a great time talking to you. I've had a great time speaking with you. This has been fantastic.
Me too, like really amazing. And one last question is about have you got any programs? Well, you should have a lot of programs running. So if you want, can you introduce us to one of them or yeah.
Absolutely. So one of the programs that I have is the PR Business Masterclass. I love that program because it's a way for you to really get inside of your story and how you can really learn to take back your story, which a lot of us have let other people share our story and we kind of shut down in that area. And I help you really learn how to attract media to your brand and your business through storytelling, through sharing your own story. And so that's definitely available on my website at neferteriplessy.com. You can check that out. It's a 5-day class. And then I have a group program that's paid. That first one I just mentioned is actually complimentary.
Okay.
That's a good way to learn how to work with me. And I have a $1 million media business program where I work with my clients one-on-one. You're held in a beautiful container with support coaches and experts. We have, training you on multiple levels, all the way down to mindset, sales, really getting your media brand ready, getting your pitch out there, and just having a whole life and a whole business that works for you. And that's one of the beautiful things about that program. And the people in there are on fire. Like sometimes I'm like, wow, the media and the press and the TV interviews and putting on conferences and really just figuring out, how to push past those mental blocks like we were talking about today, and really just going after what we want, getting out of our comfort zone and getting out of the gray area of our life. Nobody remembers anyone that's in the gray area. And so we train our clients how to get loud about their life and how to go all the way fully in color, right? We want you to be vibrant and visible and excited about what you're creating and how you show up on earth.
That's so amazing. I'm going to put the links in the description so that people can join and just go there and find you out without looking a lot. And I'm going to also put your IG so that they can find you easily. I'm sure they would like to follow you and know more about you and, learn from you. So, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, come on over. I have some free giveaways that they can, I'll send you the links to my giveaways. And, I have some great ways that people can get some good knowledge about what I do and also really finding solutions for what it is that they want to create.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to put all the links that your team is going to send me.
Perfect.
One last thing. What is the message that you would like to share with all the women out there who are listening to us?
Be unapologetic, right? Stop apologizing for your existence.
Whoa.
Get loud. And then when you get loud, get louder.
Wow.
Share your story. Share your story. That is how I was brought to this program. That was how I've been featured in Essence and the BBC News and, Forbes, all these different magazines and publications. Is from sharing my story. And so if you have been afraid to share your story, I am giving you the keys back. Yeah. And so just grab them from me right now and reclaim it.
Absolutely. Oh my God, that's so a huge piece of advice and message. Well, I would like to say thank you again, like bunches of thank you for being here with us. Of course, if ever you want to do something, just go for it. Let your story be heard by the world and just go for it. Don't feel afraid. And as Neferteri said it, be unapologetic. Just be yourself and don't apologize for who you are, okay? So if ever you did enjoy this episode, please do share whatever you think about it in the comments below and share it with your friends so that we can reach more people and just influence more people with more positive vibes. And it's all about you once again. We are really loving helping you out and you are the source of our inspiration. So please do take care of yourselves and have an enjoyable week. Amazing people. I love you so much. So see you in the next episode. Bye.